Howdy folks, welcome to Little John's Brewing. Apparently third best channel on YouTube. Today, sitting down, I'm doing taste testing on the single fin all grain kit that I done a little while back. Now, this was a kit that I won off Facebook from Aussie Brewmakers. It was an all grain kit that they set out to me after winning the lucky draw. And I brewed it up. I'll put a link up the top here to the original brew day, so you can go back and have a look at that. It's got all the information that goes along with it. I've been looking at this one. The Aussie Brewmakers asked me to do a review of the kit when I first got it, and I said I'd do even better. I'll do an actual video and of the brew day and the tasting, which I will piece together from the brew day in this video, and I will link that up onto the Brewmakers page in the coming days. So I hope they enjoy that. Hope it goes alright. Before we get into it, shout out to Little John's patrons, and speaking of that, I need to do a draw, and I've got the wrong one out. I grabbed the numbers out for extracted cans up. Anyway, Patreons all in here. So the May draw. This month's draw will prize pack will probably include, might include a grain bag, a little bit of grain, some hops, and maybe a pack of yeast. We'll see, but we need to find somebody to win it before we get anywhere. Before we not get anywhere at all. And there'd be our lucky winner. And as always, I hold it up there on the screen so you can see that you can't actually see it because of the light and the camera. It never focuses on it. But you have to trust me when I say that Kane Canuta, you are the winner of May's Patreon prize. So there'll be some goodies coming your way in the next week or so, depending on how quickly I get it out and how quickly Australia Post can get it around the place and get it to you. But as I said, on those lines, Patrons, big thumbs up as always. Hello. And the brew dogs want to get involved in everything these days. With the old girl, she's getting old. Okay, off you go. Go on. Right, she's gonna stay here. Anyway, links down the bottom to Patreon. Jump on, have a look at it. Might be for you. There's stuff coming. There'll be a recipe of the month coming out for you guys as well in the next couple of days, if it hasn't already hit the Patreon page. I'm doing this a little bit ahead of time, so I'm not sure exactly what time this hits. You guys are exactly where we're sitting. That recipe of the month might already be there. If you aren't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button while you're sitting there. Before we get right into what we do, hit the subscribe button. Click on that, click on the bell next to it, get notified when there's a new video. If you don't want to click on the subscribe button, just near it there's a little thumbs up, click on that instead. Click something, anyway, but not the down thumb. That's a bad one. Don't click that. Anyway, as I said, let's get on with this. Single fin, all grain recipe pack. Single fin is a pale ale brewed by Gage Roads in, I believe they're in Fremantle. They're in Perth anyway, but I'm pretty sure they're in Fremantle. Been around for a while. Anyone on the channel for a while knows I don't mind the single fin. There's 2 cartons of it sitting over in the corner of the garage, and they've been there for long time. It was one of the beers we had at my son's wedding. Anyway, the pack had everything you needed. And I said that's on the original Brew Day video. So vital numbers. We had original gravity of 1040. Now on Brew Day the efficiency was quite low compared to what the recipe was stating we was going to get, and I had to add 400 grams of light dry malt to get up to a decent post-boil gravity. But 1040 fermented with M44, Mangrove Jack's M44 West Coast ale yeast. There was 1 pack supplied with the kit. I rehydrated that and pitched it, and yes, it does go against my 2 packs rule, but that's what's in the kit, and we're testing out the kit as it is. In the all-rounder, 17.8 degrees. I didn't stick any pressure on there, but I did leave the valve closed to build a pressure, but that didn't do much. Dry hopped. It was dry hopped after about 8 days. I don't know so. Because it was quite a slow ferment with a bit of pressure on it. So it was dry hopped as per the instructions. Now I don't have the instruction sheet. I thought I'd stuck it in here, but I can't. Oh, hang on, oh, it might be here. Might be here. No, really? I thought I'd kept it. I really did. Oh, hang on, that could be us there. Yep. Yep, that's it. Recipes there. So that's it in the video. They're quite detailed recipe instructions that came with it. The estimated original gravity was 1046. I said I was actually, sorry, no, I did start at 1046. The 400 grams got me from 1040, which was post-boil, up to the 1046. So it started at the right gravity. Dry hop was Galaxy and Enigma. It said for 3 days. It was actually I only dry hop for 2 days in the end. Kegged and bottled. The little brother has already taken his carton of the bottled version. I've actually got a funny feeling I kept the bottle myself to do a side by side with. Yes indeed. Yes indeed. And now, so this would have been bottled straight off the fermenter, and she's nice and clear, nice brown colour. Okay. Final gravity was 1012, which was exactly what the estimated final gravity was meant to be, so the little bit of extra dry malt didn't hurt that. So ABV 4.5%. Again, exactly what, of course we got the same starting and finish gravity, so we got exactly where we're meant to be getting. And of course that's without any bottle priming. So bottle priming, you'd be looking at 4.95%, depending on exactly how much you use. So not sure what the official one was, and I was going to actually get a white bottle of single fin to try an original one against this, and I forgot to, but I may still do that at some point, just for shit and giggles. But let's go out Now, 11 for the third. This is 6.5 weeks since it's been keg / bottle, so it's had plenty of time to condition and settle. And I'm going to say outright, I'm glad I've waited 6 weeks to do this video. I have tasted this along the way, and it's been moderately disappointing as it's progressed. I was concerned about it. It was lacking, initially it seemed to be lacking in the hop presence, and it just seemed to be fairly, you know, underwhelming overall. But it has picked up, and it's getting better. I'm not going to say it's a sensational beer, but it is drinking quite nice. I don't think it's got quite the hop impact and body that the single fin does, but again, I'd need to be sitting here with a real one next to it. But from my memory, it's definitely not as bitey and not as intense. Not that there's an intense amount of hop in a single fin, but I think by memory they're a little bit more floral and a little bit more herbaceous on the palate, but not a lot. I'd say it's probably, yeah, 70% of the way there as far as the hops go. Now this is what I was thinking when I was first tasting it and coming along. The malt is decent. I think it's fairly close to the mark. I don't think it's too far off. If anything, I think that's the medium crystal, I think, could have been dialed back to a pale. At the same percentage, just a little bit, just to tone down a little bit on the sweetness. I think it's just a little bit too much, but it's not far off. But the biggest thing that I'm getting is that there's no real initial bitterness. It's just malt and it flows through the mouth, and then you start getting some hops coming on. And then the single fin does have just that little snap up front, which isn't here. And I think that's a case of the timings of the hops. And I thought this when I was doing, I was thinking, oh, they seem to have pushed the whole hopping recipe into a very modern style, as far as it goes, with the first edition at 30 minutes, where single fin's been around for quite a while. It's not a new modern beer. It's still made with some traditional method. It's still made with traditional and upfront bittering and some boil hops. And I think that's where it's really letting it down. It's not enough up front, and there's not enough flavour coming through late on the palate. I think they've pushed too much of the hop into the whirlpool and dry. I think if you were to push the boil additions forward by 15 minutes each, and bring those whirlpool hops into a 10-minute boil, I think this would be and leave the dry hop as is. I I think this would be a whole lot closer to the real deal. To me, it's like someone's gone for they've gone for the style, but they haven't wanted to really push it, and they've sort of kept it on the lower side, and I don't know why. Because it's a nice combination, and I think it's just being let down just a little bit from those little things. As a kid, and this, because I want to put it there, as a kid, this is nice. Just in the name, when you're getting into your all-grain brews, you're going to struggle to put together a recipe of this quality early on in your brewing without a lot of experience under your belt. So for someone getting into the brewing, into all-grain, just starting off and getting their feet wet, starting to find their way and get a feel for how things work, this is a good beer. You're going to give this to your friends and family, and they're going to really like it. Your average everyday beer drinker is not going to be frightened by that. It's not excessive. It's going to fall into a nice little range where they're going to be happy to drink, and they're going to be pretty impressed that you made that yourself. So definitely works as it goes by the recipe, and worth giving a go. But as I say, those little tweaks I think would make this a much better beer. As I said, fine-tuning that malt a little bit, dropping the medium down to some pale, I think would help. And I don't even... What was the base? Cooper's Premium Pale Malt. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I don't know exactly what its depth is, but you could even, I'd even consider maybe dropping it to, you know, 3/4 the pale malt, and maybe 1/4 lager malt, or like a Pilsner malt, just to bring that, again, to bring the sweetness back a little bit. Other than that, you could leave it with the pale malt and balance out a little bit of the with the wheat. Maybe take 1/4 kilo from the pale malt and add that onto the 1/4 kilo of wheat, and make it 1/2 kilo of wheat, and stick with the same quantities, the same volume total, just a little bit different. I will stick in the comments, in the description, what I'm going to recommend as the tweaked up version, and it might be something I might have a crack at sometime in the future. That's the grain. As I said, the hops, I would certainly be looking at doing those changes that I said, and I would consider upping the dry hop. It was only 40 grams of each. I would really consider upping that to maybe 60 grams of each, just to really lift the aroma, because it's a little bit lacking. I think getting a bit more stuff in the boiler is going to bring it up as well, but I don't think that would hurt either. Yeast, I really wouldn't play around with. I think the yeast is fine. Any kind of West Coast yeast is going to do the job. M44 is a fine yeast. It may have benefited from a starter and or a higher pitching rate. I certainly would, if I was doing it myself, I would look at doing 2 packs of the dry yeast or a starter, for sure. And I think that would potentially help a little bit with some of that sweetness. yeah, but overall, it's a decent beer. As I said, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was really skeptical. I really thought this was going to be, you know, not a good result. But it's certainly getting that. It's coming around now to where it's actually very, yeah, really drinkable. It's not a lot of head. It's holding a little bit of lacing. And again, a little bit of those changes would possibly help with the head a little bit. But anyway, that's it. So to the guys at Aussie Brewmakers, cheers for the kit. I've enjoyed brewing it. I've enjoyed reviewing it. I'm enjoying drinking it. There's a link in this video to this kit specifically on the all grains on their website. And go in there, have a look, check it out. It's definitely worth considering if you're not really into making your own recipes. Or as I said, in the original video, with the detail they give you, you can buy a couple of these kits, run them yourself, and you're going to learn an awful lot about what different malts and different grains and things do, because they're giving them to you right there. You can see what's going on and understand it. So, if you got any questions, any comments, stick them down the bottom. Always happy to answer questions and all the rest of it. But I'm out of here. Finish these two off and continue on. But before I do, again, thank you to the Patreons. Cheers to Kane Canuta. Kane, enjoy your prize when it turns up. As I said, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the like button if you're still here. Jump down the bottom. Get on Little John's website. Check it out. There's details on there of the kit extractor and how that's progressing. What's coming. What's been brewed. When it's been brewed. When it's going to be brewed. What's coming up. The order that's going to happen. Not too far ahead. Merchandise is there. T-shirts and hats. Get your gear. Look what the best dressed man in the street with Little John's shirts and hats. As long as you're not too large like Little John. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for joining me. Aussie Brewmakers all grain single fin recipe kit, done, success, recommended. So until I see you again, we're brewing beer, drinking beer, or talking beer. Good brewing.